How's everything going?
Good, good. Continuing
So,
my caffeine-free streak. So
something's not right. You sound muffled. I mean, I can hear you. It just doesn't sound as clear as it usually sounds. I'm not.
let me see if it's.
I don't know. Like, I
Oh,
mean,
hold on.
I hear you fine. It's just different from normal.
How about now?
Yeah, it's a difference.
Okay, yeah, the mic was set to the webcam mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Status update. Created an Azure DevOps project. Added like 6 issues so I could start tracking it. Probably wasted 2 mornings trying to get my app to run on Visual Studio 2022 preview and having no clue. Well, first getting a whole bunch of build errors, which were valid once I figured out what the issue was. Even though I didn't have the issue on Visual Studio 2019, but then like Signal R doesn't work on Visual Studio 2022 preview with um, with Xamarin. It took me a long time to figure that out. So I had to revert back to 2019 and it works.
Huh.
It's, I understand it's preview, but it took me a while to figure out what was wrong because I'm busy thinking it's my code. I'm like, I didn't change anything. And I'm busy publishing and running locally all these different Azure resources. Yeah, man, I think I want to go for my certification probably like 12 months because I'm getting so much hands-on trivia knowledge. So
Good.
I am serious though. I'm going to make moves in 12 months to go for my certification in Azure.
For
For,
which one?
um, well, one is the very minimal, whatever prerequisite cert that I'm going to need in order for me to get on the trajectory for Azure certified architect. So I think there's like an Azure development certification.
Hmm.
That's probably the minimum one. And then you got to have like an Azure like sysadmin certification. And I think those are the two prereqs in order to be Azure certified architect. So they've been updating their certification curriculum. Um, So I mean, I still have on my trajectory to do DevOps, and it seems like the industry is pushing me to pick up Terraform, just because it's probably the most employable skill to have for for spinning up Azure infrastructure. Even though I kind of wanted to go down the Azure Bicep route because it was new and it would give me an opportunity to be the technical authority for that particular technology, which I'm still kind of bent, right? Do I go towards Azure Bicep so I could be the technical authority in the state of Florida and solidify my rep early, or do I follow what's been proven mainstream and probably has hella tooling, which is Terraform? But I'm not going to. I mean, I'll get a job, but I'll never establish myself as like the most knowledgeable person in the state of Florida for Terraform. You know, like uh, but it's mainstream and it's what everybody uses and it's applicable towards AWS, Google Cloud, and Azure. What would you do? I feel like you're more on the safe side.
I do none of that.
Okay.
Certifications are bunk. If you want to make money and deliver a lot of value, I think the only way to do it is really to start a company. Honestly,
Yeah.
like there's nothing that's going to move the needle for you. I mean, you might make a few extra $1,000 per gig or something like that, but you're not going to make the bank that you want.
Yeah, you say that as if like 90% of businesses don't fail in the first 60 months.
Yeah, they do, and then you start the next one and the next one and the next one. I'm not saying it's a fast process.
Yeah, I think something that is very beneficial, at least with software startups, is when you build quote unquote that startup and it fails miserably, you still have all this tooling and infrastructure that you can reuse for the next great idea.
Yeah, and all the stuff you've
As long as
learned.
it's in the same related domain of tools that are reusable, hence infrastructure as a service, all that stuff that you could just stand up, common services that are abstract enough that they're applicable for fulfilling orders, regardless of what space that's in.
Yeah, and there's plenty of businesses that started off following one thing, and over time, after listening to feedback, morphed into something completely different. So,
Yeah.
but otherwise, I don't know. Looking at it, I mean, Terraform is pretty valuable in the DevOps space. I don't know how it compares to Azure Certified Architecture or Architect.
Well, so I'm pretty confident that I have to be knowledgeable in ARM or Azure ARM, Azure Resource Management, right? So whether it's Terraform, Bicep, Pulumi, whatever, more than likely it'll probably expose me to the details of ARM, which my understanding is kind of like the Microsoft Intermediate language of of spinning up Azure resources, right? It's kind of like the language behind it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I agree with what you say. It's just as we grow older and we inherit more responsibility and more debt, the conservative route is to always be employable, versus believing that you're going to hit a home run out the park and you're going to have a product that is going to make at least a couple 100,000 profit a year. Like, can I build it? Yeah. It's just how much time do I have to get things wrong before I finally hit a home run? And how long does that take per initiative, right? This right here, it's been like 2.5 years. Yeah, it's been 2.5 years of probably like 7 to 10 hours a week. But I don't know, man. Time is working against me. So I just want to be employable, because you have to also take into consideration like age discrimination. So like you're a lot more attractive to employers if you know so much crap about building a complete end-to-end solution. You know, as you go into your 50s and 60s, if you haven't been disciplined to have $500,000 in your bank account by then.
Yeah.
So it's insecurity too.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose. Which means that you'll end up, on that path then for forever. So, which that's the way. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm any better. It's a very daunting idea to start a business. It's the hardest part is to try to figure out the what more than anything. I think everything else in the middle you can figure out. It's just the what. And it is definitely risky and scary, because if you don't have a safety net, it's it's a very daunting idea. Or you have to spend all your nights and weekends working feverishly. So
which I don't do. I'll work like if I'm in Canada, yeah, I'll probably work like a 10-hour day on Saturday and like a 8-hour day on Sunday, just because I don't have transportation. I'm not in the inner city, so I can't just casually just walk outside and there just be bustling activity for me to get into. It's just I'm just on lockdown. But South Beach is different. There's always things to get into. So that's it. Um, I'm just spending all my time just troubleshooting stupid issues that aren't always repeatable. That half the time it's the emulator. I don't know. I'm getting into an area where I'm spinning my wheels. I mean, the huge milestone is I got like pretty much everything like deployed into an actual environment, and now I'm just addressing all these paper cuts. How come I don't get a delivery ID every single time I fulfill an order to completion? Why is it only like 3/4 of the time? Like stuff like that. And I'm like, I have no clue why it's not repeatable, right?
Mhm.
So, and then I end up going down a rabbit hole because something else breaks, and I have no clue why that broke, and I just keep deviating into other rabbit holes. I guess that's the nature of the business. Because I mean, I have a lot of scripts to quickly get me into an area of code versus having to always manually do something over and over again. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's my status. I don't have anything else to report.
Gotcha.
But yeah, what's up with you?
Said continuing my caffeine-free streak. It's getting better, but still yawn a lot more than I used to. But I don't know if it's actually worth it. I'll probably go back to coffee at the end of November. We'll see.
Why? Just because it's affecting your work?
No, well, maybe, I don't know. It's I enjoyed having a cup of coffee in the morning, but I kind of wanted to try getting. I wanted to try just cutting it out entirely to see if it had any effect on me in any way. I feel like I remember being more just overall energetic when I didn't drink coffee and stuff, but um,
How long would it take to measure that?
I don't know. So I guess with coffee or with a caffeine withdrawal or whatever, it's 2 to 9 days to get over it. But then I don't know. I don't know how to. I'm going totally off of just subjective feeling to see
It's
if
not, well, I mean, you said for caffeine. I was going to say,
yeah
like, different drugs have different durations or windows, right?
yeah
Like, I
yeah
don't know,
caffeine's
like,
two to
psychedelic takes like a year and a half, right?
yeah
I mean, the hospitals will say that it's no longer in your system, but nah, those chemicals in your brain is still there.
yeah
So
coffee's 2 to 9 days, but we'll see. I'm gonna ride it out to at least the end of the month, and then I'll give myself an opportunity to reflect on whether it actually did anything. Of course, having daylight saving time in there kind of is skewing
yeah,
the
it's messing me up.
results.
I'm not.
Um,
I'm busy falling asleep at like 7 o'clock, and then waking up at like 2 in the morning.
yeah, it should be like backwards because it's like we went forward an hour, so like you should be staying up later. And well, anyways,
I wonder if Alaska has daylight savings when it's like 20 hours of sunlight, and 20 hours of darkness.
I think they do. I thought Arizona is the only one in that doesn't have daylight savings time.
Well, what's the point of daylight savings when you're really up north and you
Well,
have so much daylight or darkness?
yeah, I don't know. I don't know the point of it. I know that it used to be something with farmers, I guess, but I don't know the modern reason to have daylight savings time. It just seems it seems stupid. I don't understand it. It just messes with everybody's rhythm twice a year. You hear me? I can't hear you. Nope. There it is.
Check, check, check. You hear
Yeah.
me?
Yeah. You
My
sound different
microphone
though.
just went out.
Huh.
It just went out. This is what I'm talking about. Like random things just stop working.
Gremlins in the computer, man.
Hold on. Let me go to Cam Mic. Let me go to over here. Microphone.
You don't have a mute button on your like on a knob or anything that you accidentally.
I didn't touch anything. It literally just went out.
Huh.
Plug it into a different USB port, but I doubt if that even does anything. Like, yeah, so whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know why that just changed. My headset's not showing up anymore in the mic settings.
That's odd.
My light's on. Hold on. My light's on.
That means you're muted. Click it to turn it
I
off.
thought this meant I'm muted.
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, that would mean you're muted. Sorry. Piece of junk.
As an engineer, that drives me crazy. That it just stopped working.
Yeah.
Especially,
Buy a gaming headset next time, man.
I mean, that
They're
headset's
so much more
like
comfortable.
2 years old. I didn't do anything. It just stopped.
This has been actually one of the best headsets I've had. In terms of working, but dude, it's revolutionary. You get wireless. It's I mean, I've got it plugged in, but it's so nice to take this off and then just be able to stand up and not have the cord all hosed up.
Let me use my work issued headphones on a non-work issued laptop or personal laptop. And firmware is kicking in. It says it's setting it up. And
see if it
There it
registered.
is. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Hopefully, I don't get in trouble for using my work issued headset. But
No, I can't remember what I was talking about now. Oh God.
you said you were getting off caffeine and then you're getting back on it, and then
Oh, yeah.
you were trying to convince me to buy a gaming headset.
Yeah. Got a new thing I want to start. Have you ever seen a Nerf gun arena before?
No, is it like a paintball
It's like,
environment instead of you're using Nerfs?
yeah, it's an indoor, it's basically like an indoor paintball arena, but it's with Nerf guns.
But that stuff you can't really feel, right?
Huh?
You can't really feel like Nerfs hitting you. Like with paintball, it's like you're incentivized to like really take cover and not just walk out like you're Terminator, because you'll get effed up.
Yeah. Yeah, you can
Like,
feel Nerf guns
okay.
depending on. I mean, if you're wearing really baggy clothes, then the Nerf gun is really weak because the springs worn out or whatever. Maybe not, but
Yeah,
some of them things some of those shoot pretty hard actually.
I remember I went to, like, it was a work event and they had like a young professionals group, and I went like to do paintball and I didn't know any better. So I just like came out with jeans and a t-shirt, and I had blood stains just all over my torso. Like, Yeah, I got lit up. I was acting like I was a Terminator, just walking out with my gun, like I got lit up. So
Yeah, I played airsoft for a few years with friends at my 2 jobs ago. That was fun. Those things can hurt really bad too.
I feel
But
like paintball is probably a lot more popular with like down south rednecks than it is northerners. Or no?
I don't know.
What do you think is more militant, the north or the south? I would think the south.
Yeah, I would think the South too, but I don't
Uh,
really know. I mean, we have paintball up here, but I don't know. Airsoft, if you haven't played that, is a different beast entirely because the guns are a lot more. They're a lot more real looking, and the I don't know. It's a lot more fun in my mind. So, but
Why did you bring it up? Because you recently did it, or you're about to do it with some friends?
what, the Nerf gun thing?
Hmm.
No, somebody posted a link to it. I just didn't know those things existed.
Yeah, I
Um,
never heard of it.
seems like it would be kind of a cool thing to have in a community. I don't know if I'd actually want to run one though, because it like if you start a business like that, unless you're looking at franchising, like you're basically creating yourself another job
Hey, Roman.
with more headaches and less benefits. Like
Well, I mean, you have a waiver that they sign.
yeah,
You make sure that they're all wearing protection, and you have video cameras to catch if they get injured because they took off their mask or whatever or their helmet. Like to, to me, it sounds like a sound business, and you just market to other businesses for them to have their what do you
yeah,
call
team
it,
building.
retreats.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
get team building, and then obviously it's a big thing with kids, but then you get adults too, and then you can always add on other things. Like
yeah.
it seems like it would be pretty good. I don't know if the margins would be that great on it. I really no idea what the business end looks like, other than the fact that just thinking it through, it's again, how do you take that and scale it to some place where you can get asymmetric returns on it? Like
Oh, like
franchising is pretty much it.
what I would do if it were me is I would buy some property in the Everglades, even though it's government property, and I would set it up in there so you have like water moccasins and gators as you're trying to take cover, and like I'll try to make it as authentic to the Vietnam jungles as possible, and that would be my gimmick for my Nerf arena or
That'd be awful though, man. If you're out
yeah,
there,
everybody
if
would
you have
get
to wear
sick.
glasses, if you have to wear glasses though, they're just fogged up so bad in a humid environment like that.
Hey Roman, I don't know if I said hey before, but
Hey gambler, how's it going?
yeah.
But I don't know. Seems like it would be kind of like I said, a fun thing to have around. It could be a good business for somebody,
I don't
but
know.
I don't
Like
know if it'd be for me though.
I never see lines outside the door of any of those activity businesses. So, for example, like I think like a couple weekends ago, I was just casually driving and I saw like a virtual reality arcade, and I mean, I didn't see people walking out of it or going into it. I just feel like a lot of those types of businesses, I don't think they really make money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could probably make a living off of this. And I'm thinking a Nerf arena because you're charging like $15 to $20 for an hour per person, depending on what your capacity is. You could calculate out generally how much money you're gonna make on a peak time, and then go from there. But it's not going to be, like I said, it's not going to be asymmetric returns. Like the only way to do that is to franchise out, or if you could get into like a manager run model and start something completely different, or run multiple locations, duplicate it over and over again, not franchise it, but duplicate it so you have, you know, you're building a empire basically. But yeah, I think it'd be pretty hard to, because it's an easy to replicate model. I'm assuming. I mean, you set up a building, you put in a bunch of like padding and obstacle type things, you buy a bunch of Nerf guns and Nerf ammo, and you pay people come in and they get a gun and they shoot each other for an hour, and you have a ref in there, and then they leave. You go to the next one. Plus, those
You
kinds of
ever
things,
watch
you'd
a
have to be working every evening and every weekend too. It's not
But
like software.
you don't. You would just have like some teenager working for you. Like I don't know. I mean, I haven't done the business, obviously. I don't see it being high maintenance.
Yeah, maybe.
You
After you
ever
get on top of that, go
you
start
ever
one.
watch American Ninja? I think it's called American Ninja, the little gaming show.
Yeah, American Ninja Warrior. Yeah,
You could set up that business for and tailor it for business retreats, and watch employees. Well, no, but that's a singular like activity, right? It's not like gladiator type stuff. Like you should set up a gladiator business so that employees can take out their frustrations on their employers or bosses
yeah, and then someone gets hurt and
or
it's
coworkers.
all over. Then you get fired.
But no, I mean you have all the padding and stuff, right? And everything's like foam and that little stick with the two drums that are foam. And you stand on a plank and it's like a 10-foot drop to another mat. Yeah, I'm about to quit my software startup and create that business.
Yeah, office gladiators.
No, but it'll be strippers. Somehow you got to fit strippers into that equation so it attracts. I don't know.
America Stripper Warrior.
Technically, I mean, if they could climb up poles and swing back down with no hands, they're pretty fit.
Hmm.
I remember a lady in Cleveland died. It's probably like 10 years ago. She broke her neck sliding down the pole. Well, she fell off the pole and broke her neck.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah, that's some Final Destination type stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that.
Yeah, so we went from getting an Azure certification to a Nerf arena to a stripper falling down a pole and breaking her neck in that order.
Hmm.
I don't have anything really else to report. I stopped attending my closure mentoring like a month ago. I tried it, and I know I didn't like develop expertise in it, but I didn't really I don't know. I didn't get hooked off of it, like especially not coming from F sharp. I'm not bashing it. It's just I like the F sharp way of things. So I don't do closure anymore.
Yeah, I'm assuming it'd be a bit like switching from Java, like C# to Java. Like,
No, it's not.
no.
No, closure is very different. Closure, and again, I'm speaking from ignorance because I think I only had like 3 to 4 weeks of like mentoring sessions as I was like reading a book on an off time and practicing occasionally outside of it. Like they don't have properties like your C# or Java. They just use dictionaries, which in a way can easily translate the properties, right? But like the syntax is just very different.
So it's closer to JavaScript maybe then?
No, Clojure is Lisp. It is its own.
Isn't
It's a
JavaScript based on
completely
Lisp,
different paradigm. No,
but with C? I thought JavaScript.
JavaScript is based on object-oriented programming.
No, JavaScript is
It's not Lisp.
is like Lisp.
Okay. It's not Lisp. JavaScript is, yeah, they've inherited functional features. I mean, I don't even program in JavaScript, but no, Closure is Closure. Like Closure is a
But lit,
list.
like an object in JavaScript is basically a dictionary of values. That's what it is.
I would argue that that's probably all languages behind the scenes.
Yeah, but it's dynamic. Like you can dynamically add properties to an object and create prototypes and then clone it. You can't really do that with C Sharp
Yeah.
or
So in
Java
Closure,
or Java.
you don't do that because you can't mutate values. You can't append values with new properties and expect it to be the same value. It's a new value that happens to have those inherited properties. Um, it's it's a paradigm shift. It's not even related to Java. Like I mean, it can use the Java API, but that's it. It's radically different and foreign.
I thought,
Tell him, Roman.
yeah, I thought that it was inspired by. Oh, is it Scheme that it was inspired by? Maybe.
In the meantime, I stopped running on the trail because it was bothering my knees too much, and so now I average like 2.5 miles on the beach. I was going to do it today. I completely forgot about this mastermind, and then my alarm went off. I'm like, oh shoot, because I was getting pissed off trying to work on my passion project. I'm like, F this. I'm about to just go running. And then like dee 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 dee. And I'm like, oh shoot, I got a mess. Oh, it's Friday. Oh, okay. Are you still
Yeah,
consistent with your running?
I ran twice this week, so I got back into
Twice.
it after taking
I run like
a
every
week
day
off.
except for the weekends.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's actually getting into it after taking like a week or two of not really doing much. Man, it was like I was hoping it'd be getting like back on a bike, but no, it was awful. kind
well,
of
you run longer distances than I do. Like
no, you were running
my
two,
my
3 miles, right?
yeah. So I average like between 2 and 2.5 miles. Occasionally, I'll push myself, and I'm able to do like 4 miles, maybe every other week. But like usually, it's like 2 to 2.5 miles on average, and then I start my work day.
Yeah,
But I thought you were doing like 5, 6 miles.
no, 2, 3 miles. Usually around 3 is what I go for.
Well, you're
I'll probably be running today, but this happened last night. I don't know if you can see that, but
yeah, I see it.
Winter Wonderland, man.
Oh, you got a big backyard.
That's my front yard.
Where's the street at?
It's out there.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of in like a wooded section, so I mean, it's yeah, like we don't have sidewalks and all that kind of stuff over here. It's just an asphalt road. I've got, I think, like 2.5 acres that I sit on.
How close is your neighbor?
Uh, they're I don't know, maybe 100 feet that way. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that when it's we have enough foliage around the thing, so in the summertime you really can't see the houses next to you, but in the wintertime you can, they're right there. So
Yeah, that's a little different. Like where I grew up, your neighbors are literally like at the boundary of the driveway. Like it's
yeah,
just
that was my parents' house too. It was a driveway, and then the next house, driveway, next house type thing. Here we got some room to move around.
my driveway was like different. It's weird because the walkway onto the porch was connected to my neighbor's driveway. And so whenever we would have like a delivery, they always pull up on my neighbor's driveway to deliver, and he used to drive them nuts. All right.
Yeah, there was one house, I think it was 3 doors down from us, that shared a driveway with two houses. So that would drive me nuts,
Yeah.
I think. But what can you
See if I
do?
could- see if I could show an example. Oh, no, I don't, because that's when they expose history of where I used to live at. That could be used against me. Never mind. You think I'm paranoid?
Yeah, probably. People can find out where you are,
Yeah.
and where you came from. They just have to do digging. Nothing's secret. No, that's not true. I suppose it's good to not let too much of yourself out there.
Oh man, I think you're right. Like that stuff is the internet's been out for like 20 years. Whatever you key in, companies sell it. So yeah, if they're willing to pay money, if they're willing to burn 2 3 days out of their life to get information that is hard to come by, they'll do it.
Yeah.
Nothing is private anymore. Join the metaverse. Greetings, Zuckerberg. I don't understand metaverse. Is it really like VR is going to be like Facebook's like business mission now moving forward? You don't know
And
either.
I don't know what the heck the metaverse. I watched a few minutes of the Facebook video that he put out. The only thing that was confusing to me is why he had a bottle of why the hell he had a bottle of barbecue sauce, Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce on his shelf. I wonder if he just put that there to troll people. I don't understand. Otherwise, it's like nice, clean house with decor, and here's a bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce.
I don't think I saw that part.
it's I mean, it's pretty noticeably on the back shelf of that announcement. Uh, yeah, I don't think I can share an image with you, can I?
I don't think so. I mean, a link, but or you can share your screen if you want. But
I'm just trying to find a good picture to.
are you getting inundated with recruiters calling you?
No, not really. Here, I shot you a link.
Your resume's not out there.
I mean, no, not really. I just stopped looking at all the job boards and applying and throwing stuff around when I got my latest gig. So that was, we're past November 5th, so I'll be there a year and 2 months. So
Does
less
it
than
feel
2
like
months.
a year?
Yeah, I mean, it went by quick, but yeah, still feels like a year. I don't know, man. Yesterday, I learned that one of my like good friends from my first gig, who was kind of like my manager and the person who recruited me that I went recruiting with and stuff, got fired after 30 to 40 years of service to the company.
They didn't want to pay for his retirement or pension, whatever you call
Well,
it.
no, there's no pension. It was all they have 401ks and stuff, but from what I understand, for pretty much stupidest reason, which could be that they were looking for something to fire him, and this was just the really stupid, like, reason that they pick to push it over the edge, kind of a thing, the straw, so to speak. But yeah, I don't know. Just goes to reinforce my whole understanding and belief that it's, companies, or you should never feel like your company's a family or anything like that, or really hitch your wagon to anything for a very long time. I have no idea what he'll do now.
What did he do before?
He's like he was a software engineer for many years, and then he was a software engineering manager, and he did recruiting. So, but recruiting, college or campus recruiting mostly, not like that. But yeah, I don't. Kind of makes me sick thinking about it, but I don't know.
You think his employer owed him?
Well, no, but I think that there's a expectation, or that at least historically there's this kind of like thought put out there that, oh, the company's family, and we look out for each other, and that kind of, they try to get you with that kind of stuff, and it's not true. It's completely, it's like it doesn't matter how long you've been in a relationship with this, they will throw you to this curb the second that they don't, it's not in their interest, which is just exactly what it is. I mean, I don't even know if it wouldn't be even problematic to talk about it, except for the fact that that sort of like idea is actually floated by a lot of companies, I think. We're more than a company, we're a family here at whatever. Just never. Never. But it also gets me
I've
thinking,
never been wired that way. Well,
yeah.
maybe I can't say that. I'm not sure if I've ever looked at employers as like a sense of belonging, like, oh yeah, I could see myself spending the next 20 years here. Like, it's never been like that.
Yeah.
It's always like get in where I fit in, and let's see where this takes me, and that's it.
Yeah,
So,
and that's pretty much most of. He was kind of, I think, part of the last generation that really
lifer.
stayed at places. I think most people nowadays, like 4 to 5 years, like that's what we've been conditioned as like a maximum time frame. Like if you think about it, everything since the moment you entered kindergarten, well,
are you talking about
since you
in
were
tech?
born, everything that since you were born has geared you towards a 4 to 5 year engagement.
Yeah.
Right. It's 4 to 5 years to kindergarten, 4 to 5 years to middle school, 4 to 5 years to high school, 4 to 5 years to college. Yeah. And 4 to 5 years to marriage. And yeah. So it's like you're conditioned to want change every 4 to 5 years, but about 3 to 5, I should say. But
to want change or to be pushed into change? I don't think anybody wants change.
no, I think people want change. That's why you get restless after. But you haven't. What's the longest?
Are we talking about the tech industry, or are we just talking about human nature?
Human nature. But how long have you stayed at a place before? Like, what's the longest?
My first job was 10 years. Or hold up. Yeah, no. Give me a second. It was 2003 to 2000. 7 years.
Okay, so that's like on the long end of it.
But, yeah, every other job was like a year, 6 months, 6 months.
But there's like a
3 months.
honeymoon phase, like where you start a job and it's like, oh, this is great for maybe the first 2 years, and then you start getting into like,
I mean, I think my situation is a little bit different though. Like, my job for like 7 years, that was my city. That's my town. That's my community. Born and raised there. My family's there. My cousins there. Go to funerals there. Go to weddings there. Like, I'm ingrained in that society, right? If I do any dirt, if I do things I'm not supposed to do, it brings shame on my family, etc. Right? Like down here in like Florida, I'm kind of like a cowboy. Like there's no allegiance. It's just me looking out for myself. And so like whatever I do, like I don't feel any sense of like loyalty to any employer down here because to me this is a foreign environment. Like no one here is family. No one here has like a history of contributing to the community that I grew up in. And so like it may sound like negative what I'm saying, but like I'm a transplant here. There's no loyalty because I don't expect anybody to be loyal to me down here.
Yeah. No, and I think that that's actually the right perspective that people should have. I mean, this is between you and an employer, it's a transaction, and you're basically, you're your own business, regardless of how you think of how they legalize it or how they put parameters around it or whatever. And you're in a contracting relationship, whether you're a contractor or not.
Yeah.
And you guys could choose to part ways at any moment. So, although I don't know if I don't think all states are at will, like employment, or have at will employment. Maybe some of them have.
Is.
Yeah, I think most of them do.
I don't even know what that means. You're
Like,
talking about right to work, right?
no, at will is like you can get like let go at any time. Basically, they could choose at will to drop you.
I've been working as a contractor, so that's like normal to me.
So like,
but like for your government jobs, those are different, right? Like you have to build up a case and have like multiple like warnings or whatever. The writing has to be on the wall. There has to be a paper trail before someone finally gets let go, or that's not the case.
Yeah, apparently there's like
you have to break the law in order to get fired, like on the spot.
Yeah, and that's not the way it is with Minnesota, really. It's hard to know exactly but there are different states that do different things. Apparently, good faith covenants, I guess. I don't know.
Roman said his longest was 6.5 years. No, like, I mean, I know a lot of people. They're just lifers, but they don't work in tech, right? So like my sister, she's been working for the same company for like 20 years. Like I think a lot of people they develop relationships, and I think their job they kind of view their coworkers as family. They have work wives, work husbands, whatever that crap means. I think it's natural for like people to get comfortable unless they're pushed out.
Yeah.
So it's not fun to look for a job and go through an interview process and you're not cutting edge and you've been with the same organization for 10 years. Like most people know with most organizations that are like mediocre that you don't have a modern skill set for most organizations, right? If you've been there for 10 years. So that's the part that's stressful. So who would want to leave their organization to go through that stress and not know how long it's going to take to get hired for the amount of money that they think they deserve?
Yeah. Roman doesn't know what a work wife husband is. So
honestly, I barely don't know.
It's just like it's just like a good friend at work that happens to be of the other gender, like that you're always hanging around with or working. Yeah. There's like a relationship there but it's all, work
9 to
related.
5.
Yeah. It's not, what's the term when it's oh gosh, what's the term when it's not like sexual in nature? It's
platonic,
yeah. So you like watch out for each other, you go on breaks together.
Yeah, F that. I'll put it into that.
I've never had one. I've never had one.
I will never let anybody I date have a work husband.
Yeah. Well, that's just
I'll show up at the job like F that. Come out to the parking lot.
It said they got multiple work husbands, so that's all the work husbands. No. Yeah, it's a term though, Roman. So it's
I
a
wonder
thing.
I wonder how different the European countries are in regards to work life compared to American and or Canadian.
I don't like the
Probably
term like work-life balance because it implies that like work is not life. Like it should be part of it. I mean,
in regards to what? Someone that works at McDonald's? Like what? That doesn't it depend on like the industry or the
what do you
practice?
mean? But work is a part of your life. It's not. There's no like. You could say work leisure, but leisure isn't like life. And
It's
or I mean, leisure and work are related to each other. Work and life are not opposite of each other or separate from each other.
you don't think that the type of work. So to me, I think there's two types of work. Project-based work, where like yeah, like you may bill by the hour, but ultimately what's keeping you employed is the project until it gets done or it gets abandoned. And then there's like clock in, clock out type work where like you're a security guard. Is there really a work-life balance with a security guard?
There's
I mean,
no but that term in general doesn't make sense because like life and work are not two separate modes of existence. They're
private
not.
life, I think it's private life and work. Yeah, they just left out the
Okay.
private part.
Yeah. So private life and work life balance.
Like, I
In
mean,
which case,
I've
yeah.
had issues, and I had a conversation with Jamie Edwards yesterday. That name sounds familiar. He had a YouTube channel which he would like coach developers. Like telling him how like I had one experience where like I was a contractor, but the client was telling me what to take off my Twitter or my tweets. I'm like, I don't work for you. Like, I'm not a full time employee, and no one knows that I even have a relationship with you. Like, so I think that's an example of work life balance. Like, how much control does a client or employer have outside of your work hours? And do they really have the right to regulate your feelings that you display publicly?
Well, they can choose to ask you to do it and then just terminate you if you don't. There's
They can, right? Um, yeah. Or, I think a more mature organization, instead of addressing the individual, they they default to addressing the conditions that led to that individual, activity. And I think a lot of us forget about that is not addressing the conditions that serves as a catalyst for why someone's behaving that way.
yeah. Instead, you just want to punch people in the face. Yeah. No, that's true. Um, Man, I don't know. One thing is about if you start your own business, though, you can't get fired from it. Well, you
You
can
can.
you can later if you go public and change who the real owners of it are. But if you're the owner, you can't get
You could
fired
get
from it.
canceled.
Yeah, that's different from getting fired, though.
How's it different if people decide to revolt against you and they no longer want to pay a monthly fee or pay for your product? Is that not firing you?
No, that's just market conditions and sways. I mean, that's not the same.
If they boycott you, they fire you.
No, they're not firing you, though.
Boycott is not market conditions. Boycott is people taking a stand, and regardless of your service or product being somewhat of a utility and being useful, they're like, we don't agree with what you're doing, and so we're going to deprive ourselves and not participate in being your customer anymore.
Yeah, you've got negative skew on your product, and so people aren't going to buy it. But that's supply and demand. I mean, you shouldn't expect that you're going to, you're going to have that your SKUs are always going to sell. I mean, that's just the nature of it, right?
Okay.
You're not going to get fired
the
from
the
your
discon-
like
all
the
right.
company still exists even if it's a failure.
It's yes, it still exists, but what's the whole point of a business? Is to maximize profit, right? And so the example that I think about is the Montgomery bus boycott led by Martin Luther King, and the whole like Rosa Parks scenario. And so they boycotted like the public bus transportation, and after a while, it worked. So their clients fired, right, the business owner. And yeah, it's probably owned by the government or the city or state or whatever. But I guess the point that I'm trying to get to is you can have your own business and still get fired if your customers decide that they don't want to work with you anymore.
You can have your own business and it not be successful if your customers don't want you to work with you anymore.
Okay.
I guess it's the same thing. If you treat your employment like you're your own business, regardless of the legal ramifications, it's the same.
Like you still have domain over your
Contracts
product or
end.
service.
Yeah.
It's just you no longer have your customers. So your customer can fire you even if you have other customers.
Yeah.
So I get your point, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I need to start a software company and just write World of Warcraft. No, I don't know.
Is that still a thing?
Yeah. There's lots of people that still play World of Warcraft.
I wonder
Surprisingly.
how much time that sucks out of them.
No, people
During the pandemic, it probably didn't matter.
Yeah. It's funny. There's this book you should listen to, but the reason why people play a lot of that is because they're passionately desiring meaningful, like, and fulfilling work. If you think about it, that's like an MMO is nothing more than work. It's work. Like you're grinding away at something, but people want meaningful work, so they fulfill it with.
I think it's deeper than that, right? And like I've watched something that talked about it. All right, so take your physical self. Take my physical self. There are certain characteristics that are outside of our control, like skin color, height. I don't know if someone was born with a disability or whatever, but like there's certain things that you can't control. You can't, no matter how hard you would like to work on it, you can't change it, right? And so the argument is within like what you said MMO, within
Yeah.
like MMO, like you're not limited to your physical constraints, right? You can create your own character, and you don't have to, unlike society that we live in where we may be discriminated against because of a disability or skin color or height or whatever or age or whatever. Within a virtual world, you can be a 60-year-old grandma and your avatar is a 20-year-old hot blonde with big breasts or something. Like, and I think that's the allure is the fact that people can create an alternative persona that doesn't really discriminate against them um, because of something that they can't control themselves. And I can see that being addictive.
Yeah, there's some of that, like fantasy realization type stuff. But that book talks a lot about these various things. I sent you Reality is Broken by Jane McGonigal.
What would be a huge disruption, and I'm not sure how technically it would look or work, is if they had a virtual alternative to mating. So right now, like people can't control some of the physical aspects of themselves, and then other aspects is it just takes a lot of work, which most people aren't willing to do. And so, like you have maybe 90% or 80% of the women or men picking like the top 10% of the opposite sex, right? And that it is what it is. And so like the majority of people, whether it's 90% or 20, or whether it's 80% or 90%, like they just don't have the options that they desire to have in reality, right? Um, but if virtually you can live in that type of world, you can get as much Gucci as you want, right? Because
I'm just
you can be whoever
imagining
you want.
two people like together that have VR headsets on. They're just like, man, I don't know. This is getting weird.
Oh, you're
But
talking
yeah,
about like literally in society, they're wearing like a HoloLens, and that's how they interact with each other by completely changing the. Well, yeah, that's some Black Mirror type stuff, right? Imagine
yeah,
like, yeah, let's meet up at Starbucks for our first date, and they're both wearing like their contacts that manipulates the
yeah. It's
actual
like
like physical reality of what that person really looks like.
be like
And
Shallow Hal. Did you ever watch that movie with Jack Black, Shallow
yeah,
Hal, and Gwyneth
yeah,
Paltrow? It'd be like that, except for like self-induced. So
I would sign up for that if there were some contacts that could like manipulate a visual into what I desire, regardless of reality, what reality really is. I'll do that. I'll get
hmm.
so much play. I wouldn't care because I because the mind like it just operates differently. It doesn't care, right? The mind is able to send signals to arouse other organs even if no one's there, right? That's how powerful like it is. So yeah,
Hmm.
I would sign up for that. I'll be man. I would be happy for the rest of my life. Because like there's no more like restrictions or barriers. Like you can
Yeah,
just whenever you want. For the first time, men can live as women and get it anytime they want. Think about that. What effect would that have on society, right?
yeah. I'm not sure that that's the case, but okay.
Okay,
I'm
you
not
don't
I'm not seeing the dream you have here.
you don't think in general that a woman can get some whenever she wants.
Well, women are like they have mate selection, right? So, assuming that they're sought after by anyone, they should be able to.
In general, an average
Yeah,
woman or slightly below average can get it whenever she wants. Whenever. To your point, they may have standards, right?
yeah,
But they can still like even on their standards, if it's not ridiculously high, they can just say, I'm available, come through. They don't have to search for it. They don't have to go to a bar. Like it's always there. It's always there. It's endless supply. It's abundant. With dudes, it's always for I would argue 90% of dudes, it's not abundant. It is scarce, and you really have to work hard and go through all the BS just to establish a connection so that you can tap into it, right? Or tap it. Um, so I was saying like if there were like a technology such as contacts that will manipulate fat or undesirable, let's use the term undesirable women into just being like just dime pieces, and like the receptors in your brain it can't tell because your contacts are manipulating the image or distorting the image into something that's desirable. Like what effect would that have on society? What effect would that have on women? Will they still be like Instagram models? Would they still would it change the dynamics of courting? I think it would, right? Because right now, like the sexual marketplace, like they have so much value, they're put on a pedestal, and I think this would make things equal.
yeah. So it'd be like the like Shallow Hal, that exact scenario or paradigm. It would change a lot.
Well, what happened in that movie? I mean, he didn't have contacts. What
No,
was
it
it?
was
He
Shallow
hit his
Hal.
head or something?
Yeah, I don't know if it was just a phenomenon or if he hit his head or something, but yeah, that was the idea is that he saw this, you know,
300-pound woman
yeah,
as
as
hot
as
blonde.
yeah, and so he pursued her, and I guess the idea is he fell in love with her brain, um, but he wouldn't have gone that way if he hadn't of um, if he had. I'm sorry, the cat's chasing something. Um,
Yeah,
You know, if
'cause-
he hadn't had that lens, I guess.
yeah, because think about it. Like the least attractive people probably have the most cool, down to earth personalities. So if there was such technology where like your contacts made everybody a dime piece, at least opposite sexes. I don't want guys to be attractive to me when I'm wearing my contacts, right?
Yeah. So
But like, but then like, what do you have to go by? You have to go by their personality, and
Yeah.
since most people that probably aren't exceptionally hot are more likely to be more grounded, then they would be the most desired because looks are now equal.
yeah, you're factoring out looks from the
So now the hot chicks
Yeah.
now have to compete with the ugly chicks, and the ugly chicks are winning, and they're the ones that are picking and choosing. So does it really change things? Now everybody has to work to be more humble because now humility is the most desirable um, aspect of attraction. You know, we should like snort some coke and like write a Hollywood script and submit it.
I think we still have to have our bottle session sometime.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Um, I watched the. I know it's getting late. I watched a YouTube video on like alcoholics needing like a liver transplant, and it scared me so much that I don't want to drink anymore. And the thing is, I'm a casual drinker. Like I might drink like twice a month, but watching that video, and obviously they were probably drinking every day. Like how much drinking is too much? Where like you're what's the word I'm looking for? You're jeopardizing your organ or organs.
Yeah, I don't know how much it takes to get to that point.
It made
It'd
me
have
not
to
want to
be a
drink
lot.
anymore. I've been trying to cut off sugar. So like as a black person, I don't want to drink Kool-Aid anymore or purple drink or anything. I'm just trying to drink water and orange juice, right? Like these videos are scaring me. I don't know why they're showing up in my YouTube feed, but it's working. It's having an effect. So,
Hmm. YouTube's trying to make you healthier.
they're doing a good job. So
So
well, it's been
you'll be like vegan in a few weeks then.
I was vegan when I lived in the Philippines, which is really, really difficult because everything is pork and
Pork.
chicken. So I can only eat rice the entire time. I like. Have you ever gone like vegetarian?
No. No.
I felt incredible when I did it consistently for like 4 months. I just don't think, at least with me, it's not sustainable. Because as soon as I have an effed up day, then I seek like comfort, and then I'll just start eating nasty crap that I shouldn't eat. Well, it's not nasty. It's just feel good food.
Yeah. Comfort food.
Yeah. I had curry at a Jamaican restaurant yesterday, and I'm sure that wasn't good for me. But
Dude, is prices going crazy there at restaurants too? Man, I ordered
to me,
for
they've
like
always been crazy, and that's why
not
that's
just
why I like
like
going out by myself.
not just
Hate,
restaurants, but like even I don't know if you eat fast food ever, but like
yeah, I had a Whopper last week, which was my first time in probably like a couple months.
yeah, I had so I'd go to like KFC occasionally and get like a couple of these little chicken sandwiches. I swear it was like $5 to buy what I would get last year, or would have been last year when I was at my other employer. And it's gone up to like $9 for the same thing.
I mean, I haven't
A
really
year.
noticed it. To me, I've been paying near like $8 to $9 for the past 5 years on like fast food combos. So I haven't really noticed it.
Yeah, maybe we're just more in tune to price changes here in the
I
humble
just
Midwest.
I just prefer to eat by myself when I go to restaurants instead of like having a date with me. Because my bill is usually like around $30, $35. But then like if I have company with me, it's like 70 and I'm angry. That's not even it's not even 70, it's like 80 or 90 because they want to have a drink.
Just go Dutch. You got to say we're gonna go Dutch. Then,
Is that the
then you'll
term
be
that's
fine.
used?
Isn't that what it is when you each pay your own?
Yeah, I don't think my girlfriend would like that.
How did that even get happen? Go Dutch. The cost of something, especially a meal. Share the cost of something, especially the meal.
Tell that to your children. You know, we're going Dutch.
No, you got to pay for your kids.
No, I'll leave them with the bill and I'll just walk out. So
I wonder where it came from, though. I don't know. Huh. Anyways. Yeah, I suppose another week. I'm going to try to make sure I do some running again so I don't let this dry. I signed up for another half marathon in April just to, when the spring comes, to kick me a little bit more.
you have a passport?
No.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say.
And I don't have my vaccine passport either, so.
Yeah. I was gonna say, why don't you sign up for a marathon outside the country?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be ridiculous. I mean, it could be in like Canada.
Yeah, I'd have to visit another country first, probably. That'd be like step one.
Yeah, because I mean,
That'd be
you know,
ju-
like I did my half marathon in Mexico City, my first one.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. It was different because the elevation is like, I think like 2,000 feet above sea level. So it was challenging.
Yeah, no,
You should put
this
that
was
on your
just in
bucket
town
list.
here.
Like
to
do a half
marathon outside.
marathon in Greece or something.
Yeah, I'll do running with the bulls in
Or
Spain and get gored
Scotland. Nah.
in the Highlands.
Those videos are hard to watch.
Oof. I don't know. I suppose it's a rush for people who do it, but man, I don't know what would drive someone to jump in a.
You think they're on
Treat with a
drugs when
bunch
they
of-
do it, or do you think their minds are clear?
I don't know
Because
what.
it's like it's recreational. I don't know, man. Like you rarely see black people doing that. I saw Dennis Rodman participate one time, but that was the only person I've seen of color that would do something like that. I went skydiving. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind skydiving. I think it'd be fun to try
No, I didn't like
at least
it.
once.
I did not like it. I got a video. I'll probably send you a video of
You're
it.
like, oh
I did
my
not like
god.
it. I didn't know which way was up. I didn't know which way is down. I was just tumbling. I had some guy strapped on the back of me, made me uncomfortable. Like, because it was a tandem jump. I did not like it.
Yeah,
And they charged me more money because of my size.
there you go. Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I have a half marathon then in April now, April 30th or something. So that should hopefully this kick me into gear in the spring to get back into form, because June will come really fast after that for grandmas. And
Yeah, register in Miami or Fort Lauderdale, and then I mean it's pretty much a different country. And then like yeah, that could be your bucket list. You could run with I don't know
yeah, I will be in Florida in May actually, but
what Orlando.
yeah,
How did I know that?
Disney World. It's like my entire so we have, it's a family type thing. Like our kids and our brother and sister-in-law kids, they're about the same age, and we have like we're renting like a Airbnb or something, like a house.
Yeah, I was there a month ago. They have gated communities that are predominantly Airbnbs. Did you know that?
Yeah,
I
that's
did not
kind
know
of like
that.
what they're looking at.
I was there a
Just
month
like,
ago. I was in Kissimmee, I think, and I hit up like one of my friends from Cleveland. He's like, "Oh, I'm in Florida." I'm like, "Oh, where?" He's like, "Orlando." And you should come through. I'm like, okay. I rented a car, drove like 4 hours, and I ended up staying in there. They had like a 6-bedroom Airbnb, and like block after block after block, you just saw lines of cars filling out the driveway or filling up the driveway, and people like just going back and forth with their luggage. Like that, almost that whole neighborhood was Airbnbs. I never even conceived that as a business model.
Yeah, that's it. So that's basically what we're doing, I guess.
Are you in Kissimmee? However
I have
you say that.
no idea. I have
Yeah.
the entire thought of going to Disney World and doing that kind of stuff stresses me out. So
It makes sense. What they did, they hired. I mean, this guy's kind of balling, but one is I didn't know you could rent a van. Like the vans at airports that shuttle people back and forth to like their resort
yeah,
hotels. He rented like a 15-seater van, and him and his extended family got in that van and drove from Cleveland all the way to Orlando. They got this Airbnb. It was like a 6-bedroom in this gated Airbnb community because now Airbnb is just isn't a house; it's an Airbnb like neighborhood. And then the other balling part was they hired chefs to come in every morning to prepare brunch.
jeez,
Like, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've never had that type of lifestyle. So
yeah.
they had 2 chefs come in, and it was basically a restaurant. Well, it wasn't a restaurant. You didn't have a menu. The kitchen was big enough that the chefs were just doing their thing, and then they would be on standby for like the next hour and a half as people would eat.
Hmm.
Yeah, so maybe I think that was 500. 500 to bring in the chefs each time. But it was like I think it was like maybe 12 of us. So it when you have 5 people split the bill, it probably works out, and it's probably a lot better than trying to get your entire family or extended family into a restaurant and the wait time, and then you pay that bill.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it makes sense.
yeah. We're having to make food for everyone. All right, I probably should get going here.
All right, it's been real. Take care.
Yep. Yeah. Have a good one.
Yep. Bye.
Talk to you next week. Bye.
Hey, see you, observers. Bye.